One decision, one lie, and one innocent person's life was quietly destroyed. But the truth refused to stay buried. For years, the world moved on while he lived with a sentence he didn't deserve, paying the price for something he never did. Friends disappeared. Family questioned him. And in the silence of his prison cell, even he began to wonder if the truth would ever matter to anyone. But on an ordinary day, in the most unexpected way, a single overlooked detail surfaced, one that would challenge everything they thought they knew. This is the true story of a man who was wrongly convicted, and how the truth fought its way back to the light. His name was Marcus Webb. Before the cage, before the orange jumpsuit, before the number that replaced his name, he was just a man trying to build something that mattered. Marcus grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, middle child, decent grades, the kind of kid who could fix a car engine and quote Shakespeare in the same afternoon. His father worked at the steel mill for 30 years. His mother ran a small daycare out of their basement. They weren't rich, but they were present. They were there. By 28, Marcus had carved out a life he was proud of. He managed a small auto repair shop on the east side. Nothing fancy, but it was his. He had regulars. Old Mrs. Patterson, who brought him homemade cornbread every time he changed her oil. Young couples who trusted him not to upsell them on repairs they didn't need. He had a daughter, Amaya, 6 years old, with her mother's eyes and his stubborn optimism. Every other weekend, they'd go to the science museum. She loved the planetarium, the way the stars stretched across the dome ceiling like they were falling into forever. "Daddy, do you think we're made of stardust?" she asked him once, her small hand in his. "I know we are, baby girl," he told her. "We're made of all the things the universe couldn't keep to itself." Life wasn't perfect. He and Amaya's mother, Shanice, had split 2 years prior, but they co-parented with respect. No drama, just two people who wanted their daughter to feel loved. Marcus had plans. He was saving up to expand the shop, maybe hire another mechanic. He wanted to take Amaya to Disney World when she turned 7. He wanted to be the kind of father his own father had been, steady, dependable, present. He had no idea that in less than 2 weeks, all of that would be ripped away. He had no idea that the last normal day of his life had already passed. It started on a Tuesday. Marcus was under a Chevy Malibu, elbow deep in an oil change, when 2 police officers walked into the shop. He didn't think much of it at first. Cops came by sometimes, needed a quick tire rotation, asked about a check engine light. But these officers didn't want their cars fixed. "Marcus Webb." "Yeah, that's me." He slid out from under the vehicle, wiping his hands on a rag. "What can I do for you?" "We need you to come with us. We have some questions about an incident that occurred last Thursday night." Marcus blinked. "Thursday? What incident?" "We'll discuss it at the station." Am I under arrest?" "Not at this time. We just need to ask you some questions." That phrase, "not at this time," should have told him everything. But Marcus believed in the system the way most people do when they have never been crushed by it. He believed that innocent people don't go to jail, that truth protects you, that if you just cooperate, everything will be fine. So he went. At the station, they sat him in a small gray room with a table bolted to the floor. One of the officers, a man named Detective Carver, slid a folder across to him. "Do you know a woman named Brenda Holloway?" Marcus thought for a moment. I don't think so. The name doesn't ring a bell." "You sure? Because she knows you." "I meet a lot of people through the shop. Maybe she's a customer?" Carver opened the folder. Inside was a photograph of a woman, late 30s, dark hair, tired eyes. Marcus stared at it. He didn't recognize her. "I'm sorry, I don't know her." "She says you do. She says you assaulted her last Thursday night, outside a bar on East 9th Street. The words hit him like a fist to the chest. "What? No, I wasn't even... Where were you Thursday night?" "I was home. I was with my daughter. It was my weekend." "Anyone else see you?" "No, just Amaya. She's 6. Carver leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. "So no alibi?" "My daughter is my alibi." A 6-year-old isn't going to hold up in court, Marcus. The walls of that little room seemed to close in. This wasn't a conversation. This was a trap. "I didn't do this," Marcus said, his voice shaking now. "I don't even know this woman. I've never been to that bar. You can check my phone, my car, whatever you need." "We will." They kept him there for 6 hours, asked the same questions in different ways, showed him the same photograph, told him it would be easier if he just admitted it, told him everyone makes mistakes, told him the evidence was overwhelming. But there was no evidence. There was only her word. And somehow that was enough. 3 days later, Marcus Webb was arrested and charged with aggravated assault. The life he knew ended in handcuffs. The American justice system is built on a promise: innocent until proven guilty. But Marcus learned very quickly that the promise and the reality are not the same thing. He couldn't afford a private attorney, so the court assigned him a public defender, a man named Gerald Hutchins, who carried a briefcase stuffed with 40 other cases and had maybe 20 minutes to spare for Marcus before the trial. "Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this," Hutchins told him during their first meeting. "She's credible. You don't have an alibi. The jury's going to hear her story and they're going to believe her." "But I didn't do it." "I believe you. But belief doesn't win cases. Evidence does. And right now the evidence isn't on your side." "What evidence?" "There is no evidence," Hutchins sighed, rubbing his temples. "Her testimony is the evidence. That's how it works. And unless we can prove she's lying, which we can't, you're in a tough spot." Marcus felt the floor drop out from under him. "So what do I do?" "We take it to trial and hope for the best. Or you take a plea deal, plead guilty to a lesser charge, serve maybe 3 years instead of 15. "Plead guilty to something I didn't do?" "It's not about guilt, Marcus. It's about survival. The DA wants a conviction. They've got a complainant. They've got a case. If you go to trial and lose, you're looking at serious time." Marcus sat there in stunned silence. This wasn't justice. This was negotiation. This was a game where the dealer held all the cards and he was expected to fold. "I'm not pleading guilty," he said quietly. Hutchins nodded. "All right, then we go to trial." The trial lasted 4 days. Brenda Holloway took the stand and told her story. She said Marcus had approached her outside the bar, that he'd gotten aggressive, that he'd grabbed her, pushed her against a wall. She cried as she spoke. The jury watched her with sympathy. Marcus's attorney asked her questions, tried to poke holes in her timeline, pointed out inconsistencies, but she was calm, composed, convincing. Then it was Marcus's turn. He told the truth. He said he was home with his daughter. He said he'd never seen this woman before in his life. He said he didn't do it. But truth without proof is just noise. The prosecution hammered him. They asked why a woman would lie. They asked why he had no one to back up his story. They painted him as a man with a temper, a man with a past. Minor stuff, an old fight from high school, a noise complaint from a neighbor. But they made it sound like a pattern. When the jury left to deliberate, Marcus sat in that courtroom and prayed for the first time in years. They came back in 3 hours. Guilty. 1 word, 6 letters, a lifetime of consequences. Marcus didn't cry. He didn't scream. He just sat there staring at the table as the judge sentenced him to 12 years in state prison. His mother collapsed in the gallery. His daughter, too young to understand, asked Shanice why the man took Daddy away. And just like that, Marcus Webb stopped being a person. He became inmate number 48,273. Prison is not what you see in movies. It's not dramatic. It's not loud chaos every day. It's worse than that. It's slow. It's silent. It's the suffocating realization that time no longer belongs to you. Marcus arrived at Grafton Correctional Institution on a Thursday afternoon. They stripped him, searched him, handed him a uniform, and walked him down a long concrete hallway that smelled like disinfectant in despair. His cellmate was a man named Terrence, mid-50s, in for drug possession, 3rd strike. Terrence didn't ask questions. He just pointed to the top bunk and said, "You take that one. Don't touch my stuff. Don't snore too loud. We'll be fine." Marcus climbed up and lay on the thin mattress staring at the ceiling. That first night, he didn't sleep. He kept thinking about Amaya, about the way she used to climb into his lap and ask him to read her the same story 3 times in a row. about the way she'd laugh when he did the funny voices. Would she even remember him when he got out? The days blurred together. Wake up at 5:30 a.m., count, breakfast, work detail, lunch, rec yard, dinner. Count again. Lights out, repeat, repeat. Marcus learned the rules quickly. Don't make eye contact with the wrong people. Don't ask too many questions. Don't show weakness. Don't talk about your case unless someone asks. He worked in the kitchen, washing trays, mopping floors. The work was mindless, but it kept him busy. It gave him something to do other than think. But the nights were the hardest, because at night, in the silence of that cell, there was nothing to distract him from the truth. He was innocent, and it didn't matter. No one cared. The guards didn't care. The warden didn't care. The system that put him there had already moved on to the next case, the next conviction, the next body to feed into the machine. Marcus wrote letters to his daughter every week. Short ones, simple ones. He told her he loved her, told her he was thinking about her, told her he'd be home soon. Shanice stopped bringing Amaya to visit after the first year. She said it was too hard on her, that Amaya didn't understand why Daddy lived in a place with bars and guards. Marcus understood, but it destroyed him anyway. By year 3, something inside Marcus began to shift. He stopped writing as many letters. He stopped calling home as often. He stopped imagining the day he'd walk out of those gates. Because hope, when it's crushed over and over, eventually stops growing back. He watched men around him break in different ways. Some turned violent, some turned numb, some found religion, some found drugs. Marcus just found silence. He stopped talking unless he had to. He stopped making friends. He became a ghost in an orange jumpsuit, present, but not really there. Terrence noticed. "You gotta hold on to something, man," he told Marcus one night. "I know it's hard. I know you say you didn't do it. But you gotta hold on to something, or this place will hollow you out." Marcus didn't respond. What was there to say? He had been holding on. To truth. To innocence. To the belief that someone, somewhere, would see what really happened. But no one did. And after 3 years of waiting for justice that never came, Marcus stopped believing it ever would. Year 4 brought a different kind of pain. His father had a heart attack, massive, fatal. Marcus wasn't allowed to attend the funeral. He sat in his cell that day, hands pressed against his face, and he wept, not just for his father, but for every single thing this place had taken from him. His freedom, his daughter, his future, his father's final goodbye. All of it, gone. And still, the world kept turning. Still, people on the outside went to work, laughed with friends, lived their lives, while Marcus sat in a 6x8 cell, paying for a crime he didn't commit. Some nights he wondered if it would have been easier to just confess, to take the plea deal, to lie and say he did it, serve 3 years and move on. But then he'd remember Amaya's face, and he'd remember that if he had confessed to something he didn't do, he would have taught her that the truth doesn't matter. So he stayed silent. He stayed strong. He stayed innocent. Even when no one else believed him. 5 years into his sentence, something unexpected happened. Marcus received a letter, not from family, not from a friend, from a law student. Her name was Rachel Kim, and she was part of an innocence project at a university 2 hours away. They reviewed cases of potential wrongful convictions, hundreds of them, looking for the ones that didn't add up. She'd found his. "Dear Mr. Webb," the letter began, "my name is Rachel Kim, and I'm writing to you because I believe there may have been serious issues with your conviction." Marcus read the letter 3 times, afraid to believe it. She wanted to look into his case. She wanted to review the evidence. She wanted to help. For the first time in 5 years, something flickered inside Marcus's chest. It wasn't hope, not yet, but it was close. Rachel worked fast. She requested the case files. She tracked down witnesses. She found inconsistencies in Brenda Holloway's testimony. Small ones, but they were there. But the real breakthrough came from something no one had thought to check. Cell phone tower data. Marcus's phone records had been subpoenaed during the original investigation, but no one had cross-referenced them with the tower locations. Rachel did. and what she found changed everything. On the night of the alleged assault, Marcus's phone pinged off a tower 15 miles away from the bar, consistent with his claim that he was home with his daughter. It wasn't definitive proof, but it was something real, something concrete. Rachel dug deeper. She found surveillance footage from a gas station 3 blocks from Marcus's apartment, time-stamped at 9:47 p.m. on the night in question. The footage showed Marcus buying milk and diapers. The assault allegedly happened at 10:15 p.m., 8 miles away. It would have been physically impossible for him to be in both places. Rachel brought the new evidence to the courts. She filed a motion for post-conviction relief. She fought. And slowly, agonizingly slowly, the system began to listen. It took 2 more years. 2 more years of legal battles, 2 more years of hearings, 2 more years of Marcus sitting in that cell, afraid to let himself believe. But finally, on a cold morning in March, a judge reviewed the evidence and made a ruling. The conviction was overturned. Marcus Webb was innocent. They released him on a Thursday, the same day of the week he'd been arrested 7 years earlier. He walked out of Grafton Correctional Institution with a plastic bag containing his belongings and $73 in gate money. No apology, no compensation, just a nod from a guard and the sound of a heavy door closing behind him. Rachel was waiting for him outside. "You're free," she said, her voice thick with emotion. Marcus stood there on the concrete steps, blinking in the sunlight. It was too bright, too loud, too much. He didn't feel free. He felt empty. Reuniting with Amaya was harder than he'd imagined. She was 13 now, a teenager. She barely remembered him. Shanice had remarried. Amaya called another man dad. Marcus didn't blame them. How could he? He'd been gone for 7 years. They'd moved on. They'd had to. But it hurt. God, it hurt. He tried to rebuild, found a small apartment, got a job at another repair shop, went to therapy. But the years he lost didn't come back. The trust people had in him didn't return. The version of himself that existed before the accusation, that man was gone. Some nights Marcus would sit on his couch and stare at the wall, and he'd realize something terrible. He'd been proven innocent. The courts had admitted they were wrong, but he would never, ever be the same. 7 years, that's what it cost. 7 years of his life, his father's funeral, his daughter's childhood, his identity, all because one person lied and one system failed. Marcus Webb was exonerated, but exoneration isn't the same as justice, because justice would mean those years weren't stolen. Justice would mean he got them back, but he never will. The truth fought its way back to the light. But some scars don't heal in the sun. This is the burden of innocence. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dive true stories that matter. Share this video because stories like Marcus's need to be heard. Drop a comment below telling me what you think about wrongful convictions and how we can fix a broken system. I'll see you in the next one.